Usually where you fall, at least where I fall. I fall like in the middle of a field over my own 2 feet, or because you're paying close attention. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
usually,
You lose.
you fall when you space out, like you know.
Hello, and welcome to Runnah, running on Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and beyond. And I'm Juliana, your host. Hello, friends. Welcome back. This week, we are going to be highlighting one of our local races around here, the Cape Cod Trail Race, and I'm very honored to have with us our director of the Cape Cod Trail Race, Mr. Chris Risko. Thanks for coming in. I was going to say thanks for having me, Chris, but thanks for coming in, Chris.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm excited to highlight, the local races that the running club puts on in Falmouth. This is a Falmouth Running Club sanctioned race. And also just kind of talk about the trail running scene here in Falmouth, just because as a very, 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 very new to trail running person, this is kind of interest to me.
Yeah.
So I'm excited. Do you want to give people maybe just like a little bit of background about who you are and what you've done in the running world, just like your running accomplishments abbreviated?
Sure. I don't know about accomplishments, but
I'm sure you
guess,
probably have some accomplishments.
Yeah. Well, more with longevity, I guess, not like speed, I guess.
Same.
So I started running. My first race I think I probably signed up for was the Boston Marathon in 1998.
Oh, okay.
And so I had some older siblings who ran, some marathons, and I used to watch, but I never really wanted to run. Or I kind of wanted to run. I just pretended I didn't. But like I thought it was,
but not a good.
Pretended it was dumb because I didn't think I could do it. So I still remember in 1997 I was watching the race in Boston, and I was limping around because I had a knee injury from a mosh pit injury the year before. Mosh pit. Yeah. This is the 90s,
Okay.
But I still remember that because the next day I said, like, I'm going to try to run this race the next year. I was watching it with my friends. They were probably drinking or whatever. The news, They started at noon then. So that's,
Yeah.
And so the next day I went out and ran. And I still remember trying to judge a mile, and we had no GPS. Watches. So we went along Memorial Drive.
Yeah, you had to
measured a mile in the car, and then went down to the river and tried to run a mile. And I couldn't. I was limping still, and I was just so out of shape. I used to ride my bike around as a bike messenger for a while.
Okay.
So I was pretty out of shape, but I stayed with it, and I just assumed I could get a number for the Boston Marathon because, like, my sister did, and
that's a pretty
she ran
strong
for team.
assumption.
I know. I didn't really understand those things, right? But I did. I got a number through team and training.
Okay. Yeah.
So, I got better. My leg, I kind of, worked on that one leg. I never went to the doctor or anything, but my knee was pretty bad for like a year, but I got rid of the limp.
You sound like a runner.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
Kind of ignoring things until they actually become a problem, and then if they go away, they go
but
away.
I wasn't a runner yet. I was just a 25-year-old.
Yeah, but you got
moron without insurance,
Yeah, but you got the inklings, the basic inklings of a runner.
Maybe it was in me.
Yeah, sounds like it was.
So that was my first one. So since then, I've run at least a marathon every year.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by longevity, but not speed. Or an ultra, so a marathon or longer. So.
Yeah, and trail running, when did that kind of come into your repertoire?
Yeah, so I used to read about trail runners sometimes, in Runner's World and stuff, and it sounded insane, especially the ultras.
It does sound insane.
And I first actually, the only trail run I had ever done is Chase the Turkey.
Oh, the one up, by Falmouth
Yeah,
Academy.
I like the old course. I understand why they do the new course. They simplified it into two, but it used to go down into. I was like, wow, that's so cool. But I didn't know the other races did that.
Yeah.
But it was kind of growing in 2012. There was that book, Born to Run.
I was going to say, that feels like Born to Run era for me.
I'd read about Scott Jurek and those guys in Runner's World.
And you're like, I need a pair of sandals. I'm going to wear barefoot shoes.
Yeah, and I didn't, that's a great book, but the foot stuff, I never really did the barefoot thing, but just the story about the Tara Mahar and all that. But I actually, the way it actually happened was the first year of the Chowder Challenge. I think it was the first year.
Oh, okay.
And Matt Auger, he was pretty involved in the race then.
Yeah,
the marathon, and I think he might have been instrumental in bringing it to the Chowder Challenge part.
Possibly.
I don't know. But he was talking about it. I was like, well, I got to do that, you know.
Yeah.
I've done the Cape Cod Marathon. I haven't done it in a while, but like 7 times back in the day. But I was like, all right. So I didn't know how to train, so I started reading about how people train for like ultras, 50K and ultras, and it's kind of like...
It kind of is an ultra. I mean,
yeah, it's the same way. So you do some back-to-back long runs, and that's kind of what ultra training. That's the only kind of difference is you do some back-to-back longer slow runs.
Yeah.
But through that process, I started reading more about trail running. So that's the next. So I did the Chowder Challenge, but then I started to do trail races and some ultras. So there's a group up around Boston, the Trail Animals Running Club.
Okay, I've heard of the Trail
So
Animals.
their races were like $20, 10K up to 50 miles, and it was like potluck. There was no shirts. It's pretty minimal. Like it was potluck. People hung out.
You're pretty much fueling the aid station with that $20, like being like, hey, give me food.
Yeah.
And
You would bring they would tell people what to bring based on the letter of the alphabet, like bring salty stuff or candy or sugary stuff or savory stuff, kind of. You know what I mean? So,
yeah.
So I loved it. It was a very different scene, you know.
Yeah.
And it was kind of cool. And when you start getting slower, not that it was ever very fast, but I don't know. It was interesting. You could go longer. Yeah, like you can train your body to go longer, kind of almost no matter how old you are. So it was kind of cool to be going the longer distance. So that's kind of how I got
a little more into trail running.
Yep. So then, so I did some 50 milers and then a few 100-milers.
Yeah, just casual, you know.
Yeah,
casual
well,
100-milers.
So it's great, yeah. So that's the story in a nutshell.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite race that you've run? You're not obligated to say the Cape Cod Trail Race.
Trail race, I'd say the Vermont 100 race is really cool. I've done that 3 times, and
nice.
It's beautiful. And there's a horse race too.
Oh, is that the one where the horses have to try and beat you to the end?
No, it's just simultaneously a horse race.
Oh, okay.
So I guess back in the day, some of the ultra marathons sprung out of horse racing.
Interesting.
Yeah. So, Western States 100-miler. It's kind of like the Boston Marathon now of 100-milers.
Yeah,
it's like the most prestigious. You got to
you got to have a qualifying race, and then you got to go into the lottery, and then you got to
it's so hard to get in. But that race was a horse race at one time. It started because this guy's horse went lame, and he went on foot, and it was a 24-hour, and he said, I wonder if I can do it, and he did. And that it wasn't exactly the birth of 100-milers, but it kind of was. It's kind of known to be. So the Vermont 100, I think it grew up together. I think it's the only one now that's still a horse race simultaneously.
Okay.
So there's horses out there doing different distances.
Interesting.
Little horse aid stations with
that's kind of fun.
Oats and whatever they eat and big things of water.
I can imagine I would really enjoy having horse petting stations when I arrive to aid stations.
Yeah.
Because I imagine the horses are going to finish quite a lot faster than I would ever
finish.
They're
kind of on a different, they have more different distances and you can't really tell where you are. It's not like they say go, there's different start time, but then once you get going, you see them on the course. And you see them all night. I mean, because most people are out there all night. You know?
That's so
and they give you some what not to do.
I would imagine.
Let them know they don't like to be surprised, all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not really. They're mostly so.
Yeah, they're mostly pretty chill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's an amazing race. I recommend checking it out, even if you don't run. And,
I'll, if I survive my 50K in the spring, I'm running the Watapa Trail Runners 50K in the spring.
Where's that?
It's in New Bedford.
Oh yeah, okay. I've never run it, but I've seen it listed.
Yeah, it's local enough where I can drive to it, and it's 5 loops. Yeah, 5 10K loops.
Okay.
So I can just park my car, can have my own little mini aid station plus the other aid stations that are out there, and just gonna try my distance, try my best at the 30-mile distance. So
You'll be fine. I've done a lot of the loop races, and the only thing it's a little hard coming in because you go by your car.
I know that's the thing about it.
And it looks so warm and comfortable and stuff. But don't give in. Just keep going.
I know that's the thing where I'm just I also have been telling myself too. I was if I can run a marathon, I can run the other and do Boston because you have to walk.
Oh yeah, it's kind of hard. I want to say harder. In a way, it is though because you can you have kind of permission to go slower and
I know that's
to walk. I don't know if it's hilly, but if you can walk some hills, that's a good strategy oftentimes.
Yeah.
Saves your legs, things like that.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not going to be walking up hills, but I will be walking down hills. My downhill trail running is very bad. It's very bad.
Yeah.
I'm very centered over the front of my feet, and so when you add the hill in, I'm like, oh no!
I know. You get used to it though.
Yeah, I'm trying, but okay.
I think you'll do great. Yeah.
So, well, let's give the people what they came here for today, Chris, even though they did come here for you.
Yeah.
But we're going to talk about the Cape Cod Trail Race, which
Yep.
is the race that you are the director for, part of the Falmouth Running Club array of races that we have here in town. And remind me of the date again. It's April
27th this year.
April 27th, which is a Sunday.
Yeah.
And what time does the race start?
8.
8 a.m.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about the different distances that are being offered. So what do we have for that?
So we have a 10K, 20K, and 30K. So it's a 10K loop.
Loop.
Yeah.
Over
So you
there.
can just do it once, twice, or 3 times. You can sign up for 30 if you drop down. A lot of people kind of do. We don't.
You don't penalize anyone.
No,
really.
we don't give you like a did not finish, or
Yeah.
anything like that. That's fine.
It's pretty chill when it
Yeah,
comes to
so
that side of things.
it's gone through a lot. The race, different directors, different things. There used to be different distances. It was an ultra. It was my second ultra, I think. It did have a 50K ultra. I'd like to bring it back maybe, but it's hard. It's hard to get people to stay out there. Volunteers and stuff.
Yeah, I was gonna say if I survive this 50K this year, I could be tempted. To do it.
It's a great course for maybe we'll.
I'm gonna have to go scope it out because I'm very tempted now to just go run it anyway, like as not on the day because I can't.
Yeah.
Like just to train.
Well, a couple of years. I don't think we did it last year. Did we? We did some practice runs or just to see the course. It's a hard course. Mike Falcone.
Oh, yes,
So
I know
he's
Mike.
probably the one person that could probably get through the course without it unmarked that I know. Like people, and they're like, "Oh, can you give me the Strava link?" And I'm like, "Sure, here you go." But you're not.
fun.
It's just so. Have you been in Crane to bike or anything? There's just so many there's
not
8
extensive.
intersections of trail
gosh.
So it's a pain. It's a pain to mark. And it's a
Yeah.
pain. It's beautiful. It's a great course, but
Yeah.
But we can get you out there. Mike can get you out there. A little tour.
Yeah, I'll grab Mike. He can take me
Yeah, for
when he's
sure.
doing that. But so we have the 3 distances. We have the 10K, the 20K, and the 30K.
Yep.
And it is a 10K loop. How would you describe, except for being slightly confusing because of the trail markings?
Yeah.
Which hopefully day of should be fine.
Oh yeah, no, it's really well marked.
Yeah.
It will be. The course is great because it starts and it's like kind of open field-ish kind of. It's beautiful. It's got like long grass and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'd say this is roughly speaking, the first and last third are kind of like that. So a little bit wider open, and then the middle third is like the single track, technical loopy, kind of hilly stuff.
Okay.
So so the beginning, like the faster people can, they can get out, or you can stretch your legs a little bit. In the middle, it's more like they call that technical kind of
technical
or whatever.
trail. You got like roots, you got rocks.
Yeah,
you got,
and nothing compared to maybe the White Mountains or something. But it's curvy, it's rocky. It goes up a couple of hills. There's a place called Mountain Zig. It's not a real mountain, although it might feel like it. Especially if you're doing a few loops.
that third loop, it might feel like a mountain.
Yeah. But then it opens back up again, so you can, and I think it probably for the middle of the pack, it gets kind of
Maybe a little bit congested on that
congested.
single track.
I think, which is the norm for trail races, I think. The fast guys, they won't have to deal with it. And if you're at the back,
You should be
that's
fine.
cool. But it's part of the strategy because you can open up and whatever. And people are supposed to let you pass, but some people, it's the guys. They don't they don't want to be.
They don't want to be passed by someone else.
So,
I know
but
that.
it opens back up, and the last 2 miles or so are wide open and actually downhill. So.
Oh, okay.
And it comes back, to the start.
So if you're good at like technical terrain, you could probably do a pretty fast time on this course.
Yeah, as far as trail running goes, it's a pretty fast course. But if you're just only used to road running, and people are like, because it takes some getting used to. You know, if you're used to looking down, it's 7-minute splits on your watch, and the fast people get more annoyed. They're like, it took me 9 minutes, you know. And so,
I think people like one of the things that I'm learning trail running is that the terrain kind of sets your pace for you, but you'll have an overall average that feels probably correct to you. Like you'll have some miles that are like 15-minute miles, and then you have some because you're blazing downhill on like the grass or something, or like 7:30s, and so you kind of land in a zone where you have like your average pace is probably okay. But if you look down at your watch too many times, you're going to see a lot of different.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can, but you don't want to do that as much. It'll drive you bananas, especially people that are just used to even splits or something like that. On the road, it's a different world.
A lot more.
It takes some adjusting. You just got to be a little more chill with it.
Yeah, that's what I'm learning too.
And then trails to trail, like they're so different. You can't even say, well, on trails I run this pace because they're just so different. Some are pretty, almost like road, pace, and then some are not even close. Like you're going to be doing 20-minute miles or something. So.
Yeah. It's funny, I was watching someone who was like, like a YouTuber who was like, we did trail miles. And like, granted, Falmouth is not the most like trail place in the entire world. We're not in like Utah. We're not in the White Mountains, like you said. But I feel like if you go off onto the trails, you can find some pretty good technical terrain for the most part. And like get a varied terrain. But this person was like, I'm on trails and they're running on like a gravel road. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to judge anyone, but this doesn't feel like trails to me. Like this feels just like running on a gravel road.
Yeah.
You know?
And the gravel road is probably a little slower than road. And the Vermont 100 has a lot of gravel road. And it's overgrown with trees. I guess it has a trail feel, but it's a lot faster than most trails.
Yeah.
But Falmouth, actually, I wish, more people knew is not just a trail race, but there's a lot of trails. Like, from like Goodwill Park, Long Pond. I mean, you can stay on trails all the way to the Bourne Rotary, just crossing the street a couple of times. Like there's the Moraine Trail, and then that goes all the way. And it's beautiful. It's like single track trails, and you can go to the bridge. I've never done that. I think Mike Falcone has, but that's not real. Maybe you're not supposed to be. Once you get past, I don't know. But
it's okay. I've been on some roads where I definitely wasn't supposed to be there. So.
But no, really nice. I mean, they're tough. A lot of them, especially when you get. It's kind of near Crane, like a lot of bikers go in there. Like the part where you get on the highway off 151.
Yeah.
There's that parking lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of like up in North Falmouth area.
Yeah.
And what would you say, like race day? What do you guys usually have like at the starting line area? Is there like an aid station there? Is there like good parking? Like what if I'm showing up to this race?
Yeah.
What's the vibe and what's happening?
Okay, so you'll park and the race directing. I'm so grateful that Jack Afarian and the president of
it's actually Steve now.
But he took on the parking, which I'm glad because I have no idea.
Oh, well, that's good.
And these guys know what they're doing. Like, I have a system. So everybody, they pack you in there tight.
Okay.
Again, it's pretty low frills. But there'll be, at the start, there'll be like a place to get your number and, the usual stuff. And that's also one of the aid stations will be, well, not right there, but there's one at the start and then there's one at like almost 2 miles in and one about 2 miles from the finish, so about 4 miles
about 4
in.
miles,
You kind of have to put them. They're not ideally located as far as race goes. One's a little too soon and stuff, but there's a dirt road that goes there. Otherwise, you'd be schlepping stuff through the woods, and it's not really worth it. But three aid stations a lot for 6 miles.
That's a pretty generous.
Aid station. I mean, some I've run where they just say one at the start and finish, but I think a lot of new trail runners do this.
Yeah.
Let's see.
So parking, we don't have to worry about. There's a
Parking's
system.
Good, yep.
You show up, they will tell you where to park. No worries about that. And then we can go pick up our number over at the starting line area, which is probably like a little bit of a walk, but not really that far.
Yeah, actually the number pickup, if you ever see it, there's a parking lot and there's like a place, a little pavilion where people fly model airplanes out of, the little runway.
Oh,
if you go
okay.
there, check it
Yeah.
out. They have like this little miniature runway and stuff, but they let us use that for the day.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. So that's where we pick up the numbers. The actual start's about 50. Well, no, a couple hundred yards down the dirt road. You can just see
Okay.
it. Like
Yeah,
it
it's
starts
like
up
right
there.
there.
Everybody gets the idea. So you just, yeah.
And we do that.
Again, yeah, there'll be. We're having there's pint glasses for the first I think 140.
I was going to say it's like 100 something or something.
They're pretty cool. Aquatic
Brewery.
brewery logo on there, and it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is kind of like a lot of our local races are a little bit more no frills, which you'll find in a lot of like local races.
Yeah.
But this one, I would say even a little bit more specifically, but just kind of just the vibe of the trail scene overall.
Oh, for sure. It's important to know that it's a coupleless race. Most trail races are, but I think that a lot of people run this who are new to trail racing, so there's always some people that are a little surprised. No one seems mad, but I just feel bad because they don't have a cup. You either have to bring a cup or a handheld, or it's only for some people just doing 10K. They don't really care. They don't need it. Water, but it's so much waste. Reduced, but it's also just the cups. It's so windy there at Crane. Like if you go with cups, they're like blowing around. You're chasing them down through the fields and woods, and it's just really
it's not worth it.
It's not worth it.
So that just means that none of the aid stations have cups that you can fill up. And
they have water and Gatorade and,
I was gonna say.
Maybe a few snacks at there. It's not like an ultra where you need a ton of food, but usually some fruit and some.
Yeah, maybe we get
candy
lucky
or
and there's like
something
pickles
like that.
or something.
Only at the start finish kind of turn around for that, but there'll be But so people need to bring their own cups or handhelds or whatever.
Yeah, so like bring your own like backpack with a bladder in it. Bring your own like water bottles to fill up. They even make those foldable cups.
Yeah,
that you can.
And I think Kathy, the secretary for the club, talked about
maybe doing
having a few of those collapsible cups just in case somebody needed to take them.
I mean,
last year I brought my own water bottles and lent a couple out. I have so many handhelds and stuff.
If you need more handhelds, you let me know. I got plenty of them. I've got so many.
Yeah. So
I've got like at least 20, and I only ever used like 2 of them. So we good.
Yeah. And it's good. But some people are always. But this year on the sign up thing, there's a thing you have to check. Like I realize there's no. That doesn't mean everybody. But
people are just checking things anyway. But hopefully they'll watch this podcast.
Yeah. But it's not usually the biggest deal. I mean, we get no one's.
Yeah.
No one's. It's usually kind of cold. Like no one's overheating.
Yeah. Well, because it is like right before. Kind of like right around the Boston Marathon time frame, more or less.
Yeah.
And that's just such an unpredictable time of year here on the Cape.
Yeah. I mean, in my history
weather-wise.
of, directing or running or volunteering, it's usually been raw and like the spring on Cape Cod. It hasn't been a warm day. I know that's possible and they happen that time of year, but it really hasn't.
Yeah.
So.
With the weather around here this time of year going into like March and April, I expect the worst, and if we get a nice day, what a bonus it is.
Yeah, for sure. And it's really windy at the field because it's in open fields, but not when you get onto the course. It's a lot less windy and warmer. So I know just from walking it a lot, the course, and like people feel cold at the start, and so
they get moving and get inside.
So you might want to layer or just
they get kind of like covered. You get surrounded by the nice cozy trees almost, and they protect you a little bit, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So people sign up, you get your bib, you're going to get a pint glass for Aquatic Brewery is with the local brewery here in town, and they are the sponsor, correct, for the race? Or one of?
Yeah, that's it. Just them.
Just Aquatic Brewery.
We probably had no sponsors, and one is good.
One is
for me. Yeah.
One is a good time. We like it. Keeps it simple, you know. And so my next question for you, Chris, is there any required kit for this race? Because what I've learned with trail racing recently is that like a lot of the races you have to have like X, Y, and Z an item. But is there anything for this race that people require?
No, it's not. That would probably be for the more extreme kind of races, like an ultra, or if you're away from this. I mean, you're never more than
2 miles away.
2 miles away from
an aid station.
Aid or help, We do have a guy who's like who is he? I don't know if he's a physician's assistant or something. He's gone out just because he's always done it. I think the former director brought him on, and he kind of hangs out at the aid station that's at mile like 4 point, a little bit right around 4. But I don't think he's ever had to give out some
any kind of like medical
or something.
Yeah,
but
really
good
nothing.
to have him there, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're
like the
"Yeah,
trail races
it's
I've
fine."
run, not too many have that. So, but it's
Any
good
kind of
to have
medical
him
staff.
on in case somebody,
Yeah, which is so interesting to me because, like, you've run major marathons too, but especially like Boston or like Chicago or something like that. You're never out of shouting distance of someone from a medical team.
Oh yeah, with a road, like a major road marathon.
Yeah. And I was telling my uncle about the ultra that I'm running, and like at any given point in time, like the furthest I'm going to have to walk if something happens is about 3 miles because it's a 10K loop. And he's like, oh my God, you're like freaking out over it because like he knows how like the major marathons are running, like the Falmouth Road Race is running, like you're always surrounded by these medical people. I'm like, what do you think happens on the normal runs when I go by myself? I don't have a medical team following me, and like.
I know. The big marathons have so much. I mean, some of the small, I ran a marathon in Holyoke years ago, and there were like 40 people.
40 people?
Yeah. 50.
That's tiny.
Oh, I know. It was probably more, it was kind of like you didn't see anybody. It was kind of like a trail run, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
There were like markings in the road, like with chalk and stuff. There weren't people.
That feels more just like a fat ass to me than anything.
It kind of was, but it's an old race, I think. I wonder if it's still going on. Anyway, but yeah, especially like Boston is literally aid, not just aid, but like medical, almost every
aid station
mile, right?
Yeah.
To some extent, right? Like
for the most part, yeah.
So.
Yeah, Chicago and New York are kind of the same deal.
I mean, it seems like, I don't know. I've really never heard of people getting in that much trouble in these races, Even bigger ones, even ones that are more like more remote, like so much more remote.
Yeah, so much. I feel like most people come into trail races just prepared for the most part.
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, they take it seriously, which is good.
Yeah.
But it is nice that this race specifically is approachable for pretty much anyone. Like,
I think so. I think it's a great race for someone that's new or nervous about trail running.
Yeah, because it's a lot. It's pretty chill. It's got an aid station pretty much every 2 miles, which is pretty generous, I feel like.
Yeah.
Even for a road race versus a non-road race,
Yeah.
like that feels very generous to me.
Yeah.
And it is a loop, so once you get to know it, you can feel a little bit more confident going to the second loop if you want to, which I think is great. And you don't have to worry about bringing any specific kit with you, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
So.
For sure. And I think one of the reasons I kept those aid stations, because I was like, do we really need that many? It is in case somebody like sprained an ankle or something, because they're both on a dirt road that goes through the course. So they could get a ride out, basically.
Yeah.
I felt better about it more than
Yeah.
needing water that often.
Yeah.
Kinda,
That makes sense.
Just like so
Easier
not to limp all the
evacuation.
way to the finish or something,
Yeah, that wouldn't be
But
good.
the runners look out for each other. So if somebody's like looking not good, they would tell someone, get on the phone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know.
And the cell phone signal there is like decent, correct?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So you can always just have your phone on you, which is something like, as a female who runs alone all the time, I always have my phone on me for safety purposes, you know? So I would recommend that if you can, run with your phone, just so you have some kind of lifeline.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially running,
in the trails.
The race is probably not as much as like just running in the woods,
in general.
or even out
just in
anywhere.
general. Yeah. Be safe, friends. Try and be safe.
For sure.
So we don't really need any kind of kit. No. It's not really super crazy bananas when it comes to the organization. Yeah. I guess my question for you, Chris, is what questions do you get from runners typically, if any, that you get like year after year, or like what are the things that people may or may not inquire to you about as a race director?
People always email and ask if they can bring their dog.
Okay, what's the answer to that?
They can't. I wish they could. But it's just, well, for one thing, they just can't. So I'm kind of like this, that it's just, no, they can't, like part of the insurance policies with the club and everything.
Yeah.
So I like that because it's not up to me that way. I can
you're like,
blame somebody else.
Not on me, it's the insurance policy. I'd love to see your dog, but no thank you.
It would be cool. But, I think there was, I didn't run it. I didn't have a dog at the time, but I remember there's some race that it was like run with your dog race through BB Woods years ago. That'd be cool. But I had never. Most races say no. And trail runners are kind of dog people, but it's just you can see the reason why and everybody thinks their dog is,
perfectly fine, not going to bark at anyone, not going to try
especially
to
have
attack
multiple
anyone.
dogs. If you just if just one dog were allowed to run, that'd probably be pretty cool for that
Find
dog.
that one specific dog. This dog alone can run.
Yeah. But not like if there's like a pack of dogs. So I don't know. People ask questions about what kind of drinks will be there. So I think it's Gatorade, which some trail runners are used to. They don't really like. Some of the ultra runners, like Tailwind or some of the different electrolyte, like Gatorade, is you don't see it as many at the ultra, whatever. But then they're usually just happy to bring their own.
Like grilled cheese stations or anything like that out up in here?
No, we would. If we brought back the 50K, we'd probably have something. We'd have to have more food, like food, like not just food. Like just fruit, but. It's a little tricky there with the cooked food. I don't know. So I took over the race in 2022. I kind of took it over, but Carl I don't know. He had generators. I don't know. He had food somehow.
Yeah, Carl Gavison.
Like big things. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that could be a question that we follow up with Carl with in maybe like a year or two or something.
So the hot food, I don't know. Like some races, ultras, most of the 50 miles or so would have it, but 50K sometimes they don't want to deal with the hot food, like with the keeping it hot and the risk of it. I don't know. I'm not sure I would go that way anyway, but
I feel like
we'd have more food for sure.
I feel like it works better if you have someone who's really enthusiastic and wants to do that specifically. You have
It's nice having a grilled cheese or a burrito or something if you've been out there that long. Yeah. But it's sometimes just cookies or big stuff or candy. Yeah. Soda's big if you keep running. People like the Coke and stuff.
Yeah, nothing hits better than a flat Coke.
I agree. It's the only time I drink it is
same. And I specifically want the flat Coke. I don't want the fizzy Coke because the fizziness is just gonna blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. If you're carrying it, kind of fizzes up and kind of.
Yeah, that's where you if you're doing a loop, you crack it before you leave.
Yeah, you get in the ventilate. Car.
Yeah, you get in the car to drive here in the morning. You crack the can open and then you leave it either in your car or with someone at the starting line, and then you just kind of let it aerate until you need it in a couple of hours, and then it's good. It's good to go. Yeah. One of the fun tricks.
You know what you're doing. I think it's you're ready for ultra running.
I don't know.
It.
I don't know. We're
Coca-Cola management.
We're trying, We're just trying. But so aid stations and the dogs. Any other questions that people typically ask?
No, like I said, a lot of, or I don't know if we were talking earlier about this, but people ask if they can preview the course.
That might be something for us to follow up with our friend Ryan, who did the tour of the Cape Cod Marathon course. Eventually, I'd like to get course tours for all of our local races.
Yeah, and I took people out a couple of times. One time that we ran into this group so it's a hunting, area. Yeah. So you have to kind of go on Sunday because even in April, there's still hunting season. It's just I wanted to have the race. I would prefer it on Saturday, but Sunday's the only day unless we had it later in the year. Most of the hunting's over, but still season for something or other. Okay.
So there's no hunting allowed on Sundays?
No. Okay. But I guess the year I was doing it, we ran into some people doing hunting dog trials, and they got upset because we were running and we didn't know that they were going. Anyway, it's a very hard course to follow on, even if you have the Strava map or stuff. You can walk it. It's just going to be hard to run. People think they're just going to look at it and run, and it's just. They're welcome to try, but it's just. So I do let people know, here's the Strava link, but and they sometimes try it and write back, and they're like, oh God, yeah, you're right, and they don't get so lost that they're lost in the woods and don't come back, but it's just hard. Even when you go out there and if you haven't seen it in a while, or the first year that I did it, and Mike actually helped me a lot, like marking the course, and we'd walk it a few times. And you do a lot of this, like looking, and then oops, nope, turn around,
Double checking, be like, wait,
yeah,
hold on.
But now I know it by heart. But there's a lot of twists and turns in there. So
we'll have to send you out with a camera at one point, and we'll strap it to you. You can go either
walk. Oh, that
or,
kind of tour. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, you can either go walk or run it. We'll get like the 360 cam on you.
Okay.
And that way people can watch it and they can kind of get like visually familiar with it, which is kind of fun.
Yeah.
That's what we did with the Cape Cod Marathon this
year.
year.
No, I've seen those. Yeah.
Which is a lot of fun. It just kind of gives people a preview, and it would also like probably help people and probably save you a lot of question answers. So you could just like pre-write an email response that has the link to the video and the Strava thing, and just be like, here you go, boop boop, copy paste.
Yeah, and be careful if you're going, especially early in the year, if it's any other day, because you might be people with guns shooting. Yeah,
put a little like
birds.
Put a little thing at the bottom that says, "Do not go on any day except Sunday. Please wear really, really vibrantly colored clothing so no one mistakes you for an animal."
Yeah.
Yeah, which is also important in trail running too, is to be visible if you can, and road running too.
Yeah.
Just be as visible as you can. I always have, when I was working at the running shoe store, people would come in, they'd be like, I want like a gray shoe or like a brown shoe or like a white shoe. I'm like, I want the brightest color you got, because I want to look like a walking, talking neon sign. So that way if people run me over, it's on them. It's not on me.
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah.
Be visible, you know. Anything else that people typically email you about, ask you about?
I don't know. Not that I can think of. Sometimes about, race, like the times and stuff, even though everything's posted. So I don't know. I don't get that many. I'm surprised, kind of.
Yeah. Maybe trail runners just kind of know what they're doing, or I think like a lot of trail runners are just like solitude people. They're like, I will be doing this on my own, and they take a lot of pride in like finishing things on their own and like accomplishing their own accomplishments, and like they research things a lot and just are very like, okay, boom, 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 boom. I feel like most trail runners I've met are either extremely reckless and just are like, I'm gonna go run 100 miles today with no training, and I'm like, great, have fun. Or there's someone who's like, I've done this before. They have their pack. They have everything all ready to go. They're like double checking their kit, making sure they're good.
Yeah.
Like every single thing that they have is on them for a reason. And they're just like ready to go, fully kitted up, just like superheroes almost.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think they're, it's kind of ironic. I think, the trail running scene, it's like so much community and stuff, but I think it's also a bunch of introverts running around the woods, like from what I've seen. So it's that weird dichotomy of like...
You have to be an introvert to be able to go out and like enjoy running for like hours upon hours upon hours by yourself for the most part.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Like it's a different set of people than, not fully that runs on the roads, but like slightly.
And so this race is definitely like, it's a mix. It's probably, like I said, it seems like a lot of road runners who just this is like the only trail race they run and stuff, which I think is awesome. I want more people. And then a lot of people are like, wow, I never did this. I'm going to do more of these, and you ask about other ones.
Yeah, people get kind of hooked a little bit.
We want, so.
Yeah, I think this is a good gateway drug for people
into
trail running, because it's obviously pretty well managed. It is definitely an approachable distance where, like, if you're feeling good, you could take it another loop. Or you could just like do the one loop and be done. And it's not really like 10K is not like a crazy distance to be going.
Yeah.
And like it's pretty easy to get to. It's pretty low key for the most part.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll see a lot more people like joining the trail running community, like experiencing this race. I feel like this race has a lot of potential to be even a little bit bigger than it is. Like you said, like adding that 50K distance back maybe at some point.
Yeah, I think if we get the 50K, like the 30K is the least, like people aren't doing it that much. But I think if you got the 50K, more people be interested in the 50K than the 30K, strangely. Or maybe not strangely to me. I'm not surprised by that, but some people might be.
That makes sense to me, though.
Yeah, but there's
it's kind of that dichotomy of like, I'm not going to drive across the bridge for a 5K.
Yeah.
But I will for a marathon.
And the 50K had some pretty good numbers back before I was director. So there is a race the week before a 50K up near Boston, but and it's like not that many people do 50K. So if you go to these trail races, it's sort of like the same. You'll see the same people, but they don't. I could even probably I was like, maybe we could get something and not a partnership, but if you run, like trail runners are pretty easy. Like you get
Yeah.
a rock that said, 2 times 50K. They'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Yeah. I love a painted rock.
Or they will do 2 to 50Ks like in 7 days, like because that race is on Saturday, so in 7 or 8 days or whatever.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's that big a deterrent, but it's a little bit of one.
Once you reach a certain level of crazy, you're just kind of up there in that zone, and you just want to stay there. So
Yeah. It's about getting, covering the aid stations for that long. So 50K, it's like at least 7 hours out there. And so,
it would just be working on getting enough volunteers to man the aid stations. So, which I think we could do. I think it's possible. We just have to.
Yeah, and again, I like to have people at those aid stations, especially the second one, more if like someone needs a ride out, wants to drop, they can get a ride.
Yeah, you can replace people.
There's some aid stations for some trail races, and they're not all
easy to get
manned. Some are just like water, and they just left out for you. So
that's true too. As long as there's someone, I guess, to check the aid stations to make sure there's enough at them, and also clean them up at the end of the day. You could also do like unmanned aid stations as well too. So that is a possibility.
For sure. So yeah.
Yeah, and if someone was to complete with this race, what is the gear that they acquire after they're done?
So so the finishing medals are actually quahog shells, and they're just like hand drawn by kids at the Mullenhall Elementary mostly, where my wife works. And they're really cool. Some are like more, primitive
art.
than others. and
interpretive art.
Yeah. So some people love it, and some people are like, yeah, no thanks. But we all have so many like, I don't say cheap medals, but you get so many of those medals.
Like generic medals, I would say.
Yeah, and they're cool. But I just thought, I think there was a race, a Sandy Neck on the beach, and it was a fat ass race. And I think it might be an official race now. That my old neighbor that lived, he was one of the directors or started it, and it was just so hard and so cold. It's in this time of year, January. But anyway, so it was a 30K and there was a 15K loop, and you could do 2 loops or 1. And they had shells, but it wasn't drawn. They just write on there, and they said
50K,
so if you did,
30K,
said,
whatever, 15.
Frozen fat ass finisher. But if you only did the 15K, it said half ass on it. And I still have it. I thought that was hilarious. So that's where I got the idea about the shell thing. But these are a lot, nicer than that.
I think that's great. I feel like I would really enjoy it. As someone who, like yourself, it sounds like, has a fair few number of medals. And sometimes, we all have a few medals that really stand out to us.
Oh, yeah.
That, live in the trophy case of our accomplishments. But then when you have a bunch of other medals where you forget you even own them, you're like, where that was from?
I know.
Did I run that race? I guess I did. I have the medal.
And some people save them all, and I didn't. And if you don't have them all, then why have any? Well, no, I used to save. I had all my marathon ones, but I lost them.
I have all my marathon
15
ones.
or something. I lost them when we moved, but all the some are 5K, 10K, nothing. It's nothing less about those races finishing, but I don't know. So I just thought it was different. It's kind of cool. It's a lot of work for my wife, but the kids love it, and staff help a lot, and you can kind of tell when the grown-ups help, listen a little better. So
something might look a little bit more like a person or a bird or something on some of the medals than the others.
And they just say 10K, and then they just kind of draw trees, or I try to keep it simple. They might just be medals that all just say Cape Cod Trail Race and give them out before, because people forget to take, just sort of to participate, just ahead of time. Take it, but yeah. So.
I think that's great. I love doing those little personalized things, and I think I would assume people who run in the trail scene are probably a little bit over medals and stuff.
Yeah, they kind of don't like them because they think environmentally not the coolest thing, or the shirts. They're just tired of them, But and not that, I like shirts, I'm wearing one.
You got the Mars. That's happening this weekend.
Yeah, I know. I can't run it this year, but
yeah, same. I'm not.
And I did have my trail race, from the first one in 2014 when I ran it. It was the first one, first year. And I took it out to wear, and it had a hole and all these marks and ink on it. So I was like, oh, okay.
Maybe
can't
not.
wear that.
Yeah, maybe we do something else. Yeah. I mean, it would be like, I like the idea of the shells. It'd be cool to like maybe if you bring back the 50K to like find a way to like make that medal a little bit different, or like maybe find.
Yeah.
It would be cool if you could find some of those like swirly, those big conch shells, some like intact conch shells, and have the kids paint those.
Have
for
someone
like,
paint it. I'd be all for a 50K.
I would
a little
love
different because we don't like. So for this race, I don't do like you can look online and see like
you're
how
doing
you did and if you won, but there's no finisher prize or it's the trail attitude. Like I don't know. It's all the same, right? First place, last place. Last place is kind of cooler in a way, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the things that I really like about the trail running scene, like on the whole, is just how everyone kind of gets their due diligence and everyone gets celebrated for the most part. Yeah. And people are just excited for the first person to come across the finish line as they are the last person.
Yeah, oftentimes more. I mean, they really do. They wait for some of the bigger ones. They'll wait for them, and even the winners will stay out there. And 100-mile races, that's like 15 hours later sometimes.
Oh, gosh.
Can you imagine? Like the winner of the Boston Marathon hanging out
for 15 hours? Like, absolutely not. They are gone.
They probably have, I don't know, agenda of
probably have
things
a plane
they have
to catch
to
or something.
Not to, they're awesome, but
yeah, but it's just it's more of a community than it is there's community within the general running community, but I feel like it's just a little bit more of a collective community in the trail running scene, some of which because it's a little bit smaller too. And I think there's just a little bit more respect for the distance versus the time in the trail running scene, just because I always like to say too, I have huge respect when I'm announcing the Cape Cod Marathon finish line. The people who cross first are of no interest to me. The people who cross last, I want to be there to scream for. And I don't know how they do it. The longest marathon I've run was slightly over 4 hours. And I'm like, how did you stay out there for 6-7 hours? Mentally stay in the game for that long, which I'm going to find out. Don't worry.
No, I totally agree.
But it's just
it takes so much,
the mental strength.
To start too, no one's going to take that long, knowing you're going to get to water stations and they might be taking them down, or they're out of stuff, or they might be gone.
You might get kicked up onto the sidewalk or whatever if you're running a road race and you're running towards the back of the pack. Sometimes, it's not glamorous to be.
No, it's hard. I watched when I watched the Falmouth road race rather than run, which is often fun. It's you always wait for that last person, and there's always more coming, but it's hard. You have a sweeper behind you.
You feel like just
feel
that
like you're
pressure.
slowing down the cop who's behind you.
I know.
So I thought it was great. That's why I liked. I mean, I know Maggie, for a long time. She used to work at the library.
I love Maggie Gates
so much. I liked, how she does that.
She waits around for her and Bob will wait around, and we're actually.
It went through not just wait, but made sure they get the medals. And,
you get a medal, a heat blanket, and I mean this year we did a little final finisher zone, but this coming year we're hoping to really build it out with more people. Hopefully get some actual aid stuff too, and keep the PA system that we got for the running club out, and just really make it a little party. So that way when the actual finish line gets taken down per the cops regulations and the agreement we've made with the Falmouth Police Department, we can still stay out there and hang out and announce the last person and make them feel special.
That's awesome. And I get it. There's volunteers who, work the aid water stations and, need to go home at some point, but
they only sign up for a certain
great.
shift.
And maybe, get some people on bikes to go out and pace those people or something.
Just kind of keep an eye on people, make sure they're okay, and just scream and cheer them into the finish line, because they're just as important as the first person, if not more important. I would argue.
I think so too. So not to digress. I think the trail has that.
Yeah, that's okay.
This has that.
This podcast is tangents. This is just tangents. That's all it is. It's being run by someone who has ADHD and loves to tell a story and loves tangents. So this is right on brand, Chris.
Okay, that's great.
Right on brand. So I feel like we pretty much touched on all the things with the Cape Cod Trail Race. And is registration open day of? Can people still come and sign up the day of, or do they have to register by a certain date?
In past years, we've closed. We didn't do day of registration. I think we did it up till the night before.
Okay.
Kathy kind of handled, not that she handles it. It's like on the computer. It's just I think it's kind of a pain because you gotta go there. Last year it might have filled up right before, like,
Okay.
because we do have a cap. It's hard. There is, unfortunately, I think we could grow it, but there is a cap that just the number of runners I'm comfortable having out there. Not comfortable for safety, but soon, it's diminishing. If you don't want too crowded, so it's kind of a bummer. So I forget how many. The cap was at like 100. No, I don't think it's that big. Oh, it might say that on the thing, but
I honestly don't know.
So the first year, like, it took 2 years off of COVID.
Yeah.
And then the first year back, I forget. We had like 40 runners or something. It was
so small.
Yeah, because I think the club wasn't sure about whether they're going to keep it or not.
I think that was kind of a conversation because I was kind of privy to some of those conversations, and I think some of it was the race director position we had a lot of our, and I say like we have like a million races. Some of our races didn't have directors, and that's kind of been the challenge.
Yeah. So what happened, I mean, from my end, or anyway, this is how I ended up doing this, is like, I loved the race, and I liked volunteering with Carl, but like I said, it was just, like, Carl had marathon, half marathon, he had a 5K that started midday, he had like a diaper dash, a kids race.
Yeah, Carl
and it's just like, there's no way, and it's hard to mix the metric and the non-metric, so like the marathon and the half marathon, people are doing these extra 2 loops, and that kind of got messed up. I messed that up one year because it wasn't my job. I was doing other stuff to help with the course. It was after Carl left, and Janet Aronson and another woman, I forget, were kind of directing it. And I just marked the course. But she's like, can you go tell those people to, do the loop? And I didn't know that some people were doing 2. I wasn't even around. And so some people ran. But it's so funny. Trail racers are like, they don't care. Like that. People commented like, oh, I thought they were going to be mad, but they really didn't care. But anyway, so I guess I didn't work it that year. I didn't do anything, but I guess it was a year where some stuff happened, and a lot of people went off course. I think it was unmarked. They didn't like the way the course was marked. Some bikers the day before and maybe messed with some markers.
Okay.
I guess people, like all sorts of people were getting lost. We were out in 151. Ken Gardner's seen a couple of times. He's like, I got lost during that race. He'll never do it again, I don't think. But anyway, I was at Long Pond, and I saw Steve Morris, and I didn't know who he was then. I didn't know. He saw my shirt, so he's like, "Oh yeah, we're talking about that race. Whether they keep it or not."
Yeah.
And he's like, "I don't know if we're gonna keep it." So it's like, that'd be a bummer if they lost it. So I emailed Jack, and I didn't know who Jack was, but I just looked him up, and I said, "I'll mark the course and do all that stuff. Make sure it's clear, like, of debris."
Yeah,
but I don't want to do like the sponsor, the porta potty. Like, I have no idea how to do that.
You unlocked the holy grail of, I'm not going to do it, but I'm going to do this, which means I said
if you can get someone else to do that, and Matt Auger actually did it that year. The other stuff like the hats and the whatever.
But here you stand as race director.
But then so that was the year we were just trying to keep it on the map, and it was after COVID, and we didn't even get it registered. I think Mike helped me with the marking too that year. And so Matt, he didn't he's just busy, so he wasn't able to the next year. He's just like, I think he couldn't do it anymore. He's got kids that are busy in the store. I don't know. So I was like, I guess I gotta do the other stuff. So I do that, which isn't I love marking the course because I run, and it's like how important that is, and that's my favorite part. It's stressful, because it's so curvy, and so the people leave to run, and you're just scared. It's such a relief when you see the first person coming back.
You're like, oh, good.
Yeah, but
my markers were
the other stuff I don't love, but it's fine, and I don't. It's so little of it compared to any race.
Yeah, but it's still important. Yeah. That's the thing.
But that's kind of how I ended up.
Yeah. You fell down that classic race director or / I'm not going to get involved with this, but I'm only going to do this one thing for a whole.
But it's pretty, I mean,
I chew up and down that hole. And
I bet.
I probably will continue to dive down that hole, so, you know.
I know. I mean, there's so many people do so much more stuff, but
yeah, but that doesn't discount what
stuff.
you're
But
doing.
it just, that's the part I don't, you know, it doesn't come naturally to me.
Yeah,
But
which, I mean,
Kathy's like, they're all, it's not even as what I have to do. Like, they, you know, handle a lot of the registration, getting it up there. I mean, you know.
Yeah, and I think it's important what you do. You're retaining the trail running, like, and trail racing scene here in Falmouth. Yeah. And like I said, I feel like it has plenty of potential to grow. And I feel like
I mean, in the last 2 years, it's been more each time, so I think so.
I mean, this might be a biased opinion because I've been diving into trail running a little bit more recently, but I feel like the trail running scene has been gradually growing.
Oh, I mean, as a whole, there's some graphs that you can see. Just it's crazy how much it's grown. Like these races, especially the big ultras, but a big ultra might only have a few hundred people because there's always limits. It's not like a big marathon, except for you like UTM, like the race over in Euro UTMB. That's kind of like that. But it's crazy how much it's grown in the last 20 years or 15 years, like exponentially.
Yeah,
you know?
I feel like it has the potential, even just locally, to grow so much more.
Yeah, I'd like to see more people do trail running around here. So
I think people could.
Yeah, I think once you do it, I think you're gonna like it. People are gonna like it, you know. I just think people don't know, you know.
I'll personally attest to that. I was kind of like, I don't really want to do this, and Ben was like, Juliana, I'm only gonna run on the roads with you if you run on the trails with me. I was like, fine. And now every week I look forward to our trail running together and stuff. So.
Do you guys go on the Cape or do you go?
Yeah, so he lives kind of over near where the bogs are, up in like kind of North Falmouth, and so we'll go run that like the byway area, the bogs and the byway, where the heck is called, and like the actual cranberry bogs that the old Cape Cod Marathon used to go by.
Oh yeah.
So that's a good loop, and there's a bunch of like little side paths all through there too that you can take.
Yeah.
So we'll do a bunch of that. I got to get him out to Long Pond, though. That's like a nice little loop.
That is a nice loop, and you can go so far from there. There's a loop that goes off, and then you can go down, not to get into but you can go like down Brickhelm Road, then cross that, and then keep going over to like the tech park. I mean, there's miles and miles, and then from there you can, get over to Crane, that other part of Crane, not where the race is, and even from there you can just go all the way to like Otis or the Otis Rotary there. And
I feel like there's a lot of like semi-hidden trails in Falmouth that aren't just like super known to people.
Totally.
But I feel like we could make them more public at some point to the running community on the whole. Maybe we'll do a trail running like in Falmouth 101 and like map up some routes at some point. That could be fun.
Yeah. No, I think we've talked about that, so I think that'd be good.
Yeah.
Kind of like there's so many runs on the club, And walks and runs and talks. I'm like, I don't know who would fit that. You know what I mean? Like,
we have a lot going in our repertoire, which isn't a bad thing.
No, it's all good. But I think,
We're kind of lacking, though. I think the thing that we're kind of moving towards now is like a long run group potentially. I know Dan has been kind of pushing for that, who does the speed workouts on Wednesdays.
Oh, yeah.
And also, I feel like a trail running group. We don't have like a thing. We have a track workout, we have a speed workout, we have like the Friday Night 5, which is technically probably a speed workout if you go there. It turns
That's the only one I've done. I've never done the track, but I've done a lot of the Friday night.
Yeah, Friday night turns into a tempo run, whether you like it or not, for the most part. 'Cause you just start getting competitive with Ken Gardner and everyone else around you. So it's kind of like, it is what it is. So it'd be nice to have like a longer run that we could all do as a club.
No, I think I could help with that maybe. I could mark some like just to show people. It's hard because people, you kind of have to go a certain.
I think we just need to send you out with like a camera strapped to your chest, and you can just show us visually, and then we can edit it here. Or I can edit it, or Ryan could edit it. He's the better editor. And then we can put those up, and people can be like, oh yeah, and you can see like the Strava map, and then maybe we can get like a chest view of like the route, which would be kind of fun.
Yeah.
I
think people, even if they get out there walking the trails, I think the people are surprised how many trails there are in Falmouth. And that, well, it depends where you live, but like I can go so far in trails and not have to get in the car to go. Even BB Woods is beautiful, and you can get in some decent. It get a little monotonous try to do like 10-mile run in there, but it's easy, like 6-mile run, without being repetitive on it.
Yeah, and like Long Pond's about like 4 miles-ish, I think, all the way around.
Yeah.
Which is like not a bad loop. It's like a fine loop. It's got a nice little rolling hill in there.
Yeah.
A little up and down. kind of nice.
Yep, and there's a side trail there that's a little bit more technical. It's kind of nice. That's a great loop, I think.
Yeah, and I think just making people more aware of trail running in Falmouth, and we can help spread the good word of the trails.
For sure.
It's a nice time. So I guess, Chris, what we'll say is just if you want to just remind people again what the time and the date of the race is.
So it's the 27th of April. It's the last. It's always, well, for a while anyway. I think it's been always the last Sunday in April. It starts at 8. So
8 a.m.
Yeah, and that's. I know a lot of people are coming from off Cape, but it's not a heavy traffic day. Usually, and Sunday.
It's the same day as the London Marathon, actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So if you are running London, unfortunately, you cannot run Cape Cod Trail Race, but
bummer.
I feel like it's a slightly different clientele that we're dealing with here, but there could be conflicting plans.
Have you done the London Marathon?
No, I was going to do this year. My sister's wedding is the day before it.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Her wedding has very oddly, this is not her fault in any capacity, but it's just oddly fallen on the days where I'm like, oh, I would like to do this, and I'm like, oh, I can't. Okay.
Yeah. London's tough to get into, though. That's why I asked.
I
guess.
I run with Team for Kids, which is a charity that's based out of New York, and they have teams for all of the different majors. So I'm running Berlin this year with them.
Okay.
So,
you're doing the major thing, right?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I got 4 out of 6.
Keep adding though, and you'll never finish.
Honestly, it's fine because what it does is it gives me somewhere to travel every year.
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Which is nice. I mean, it was pretty cool to go to Tokyo last year, not going to lie. Pretty sick. But yeah, so I think that's exciting, and I hope that people will sign up for this. Chris, would you like to try something new for my podcast?
Sure.
Okay. It's nothing that crazy, but I haven't been able, one of my in my past lives of podcasting, because I've been doing this about like 8 or 9 years now, give or take, different podcasts, not this one specifically. I love to do like a segment. So I wanted to try a segment, and it's going to be called, What Shoe Do You Choose to Use? And then you can tell us what your favorite shoe is right now. It's nothing too crazy, but I think this might be a fun little thing as the shoe nerd here to hear like what other people's favorite shoes that they're using right now. So what shoe do you choose to use? Do you have a favorite shoe right now?
Boy.
You can shout out multiple shoes if you want.
Yeah. So I don't know. So I've run in Salomon shoes mostly for my ultra running.
I'm wearing the Sensei Ride 5 right now.
Okay. So a different one is like the Sense Ultra, The
Sensei Ultra.
Yeah. There's a few different ones I've tried. I've run in.
I just ordered a pair of the what is it called? It's not the cross train. It's the one that's like the really
with the big lugs. Yeah.
The big lugs.
I had them once. I never really needed it. It's really great on really muddy.
Yeah.
I think. But I always like the way the Salomon shoes fit. Last couple of years, maybe not as much. But overall, I love their lace. Do you have the lace that I like that? Because especially as your feet swell up there, that's what I liked about it.
And you can tuck the laces into the tongue.
Yeah, and it's easier just to loosen them a little bit without like having to tie them, like retie them and stuff.
I feel these shoes have turned. The Sensei Ride has turned into my walking shoe for my dog, and like with the going through puddles and stuff right now. But I love the lacing system on these bad boys.
Some people don't like it, but I like it. But I've tried different, mostly with it. I never liked Hoka shoes that much, but it just didn't fit them. But I do have a pair of the Speed Goats, which
You came in wearing a pair of Hokas.
I like. I know, but I don't wear them running.
Ah, okay.
I wanted to wear them running because I heard it was a good
like a trail shoe.
Like a trail road. Because I was going for. I think I was trying out for Vermont. No.
Okay.
Olmsted. I was supposed to do Olmsted, but I have a meniscus tear. So Olmsted's 100-miler down in Carolina. I was supposed to do it in April, actually, early April.
Oh, gosh.
Anyway, I didn't like the way they felt running, so they're just shoes that I wear, which happens. That happens to anyone that run. Yeah. But the Speed Goats I like. And so that's a second kind of. I always have a few going. And for road shoes, I usually do Topo I like.
Okay. So we like that kind of like wider toe box vibe.
Yeah. And some Asics or Brooks, Most of the shoes I wear, they don't sell downtown, which I feel like I want to support the local thing. And I went there once. I'm like, do you sell this? No.
They have a very...
Even the,
They have a very limited like trail run. I think they just have the Cascadia from Brooks right now.
Yeah, which I did have one years ago. I tried that. It was okay. It's a good shoe, but
I recently discovered, Chris, because I've never been a Brooks person. I've just never been a Brooks person, and now foraying into trail running, I've now have 2 shoes that are Brooks shoes.
Yeah.
And I've discovered that the apex of Brooks desirability and Brooks shoe usage, and like situation controllability is the most uncontrollable situations call for the Brooks shoe because it's like the old reliable. It's built like a lot of them are like built like tanks too.
Yeah, they'll last. I mean, this is probably not a factor, people, whatever, but like after you're done running with the Brooks, it'll still last like 10 years. Where Hoka's kind of start disintegrating on the way home. For like,
I have 75.
They are not built to last, I don't think.
I have 75 miles on a pair of Speedgoats right now, and they are done.
That's I think the road shoes are worse. I did try the.
Oh, I can blow through a pair of Cliftons in 2 runs. Yep.
And that's like I don't have. So I think you'll get better answers for your trails. A lot of people like the Clifton.
Yeah.
A lot of people will say that, and that's all they run in for like 20 years. But they're like shoe loyal. But I always have like 4 or 5 different ones going. Like
I think
trail and road. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, that's good. I'm excited for. I can't remember what the heck is the name of the Salomon shoe that I just ordered. I can't remember. Ben is going to kill me.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I've had a pair.
I keep thinking Speedgoat, but it's not it because that's the Hoka shoe. This is going to drive me bananas. I'll remember it later.
Yeah. No, I did have a pair once, so I know.
Speed Cross.
Yeah.
Speed Cross, that's what it is. Yeah, with the really giant lugs on it.
They're like lugs,
Yeah, I'm interested because I'm trying to find a shoe that I like for my ultra, and I've bought I think 7 or 8 trail shoes so far. Most of them would be good, so.
Yeah.
The Brooks Cascadia though, whoa, that thing is built like a tank. That is.
Is the course like muddy or hilly?
It's going to be in May, so it could be. I don't know. I don't really know yet. I'm just trying to find something that I like, honestly.
Yeah, that's just you want just something comfortable, I think.
Yeah, just and then because it's a smaller trail race, I can park my car right there. I'm just gonna bring all my shoes and put them in the back. That's kind of the plan.
I've never
If I need to change shoes, I have the option. I prefer not to, but if I need to, it'll be there. So
I've brought shoe changes to every trail race and roll and I've never changed.
Yeah,
my shoes once. It's so funny. They're not my drop bag shoes, and it's just never.
Okay.
But people do, and
it's wild. Yeah, I love it.
It's asking for trouble, unless it's broke. Just keep going. Unless
that's how I
you have
feel.
a blister or something. But
yeah, unless you have something major. I mean, half the time with the blister, it's like a sock issue where you just need like a little bit of Vaseline or something to just get a little bit of lube in there.
Yep.
And then you're good to go. It's all good.
Yeah.
But okay. Well, thank you for participating. What shoe do you choose to use, Chris?
Yeah, sorry. People will do better with that one for sure. I'm not a loyal guy with shoes.
That's what I like.
A little bit of brand loyalty.
I like to hear that though. I mean, I think I have 22 shoes in my rotation right now. I have a lot of shoes, Chris.
Yeah, it's all right.
But I don't have I'm not loyal to any brand. If the shoe fits, I'll wear it. That's if it works for me and it fits, cool.
Yeah.
Great.
I don't like the high stack height as much as some. Actually, it's getting better. But when the first high shoes, they were so squishy and high, they felt funny to me. Like the Hokas at first, and I was like, "Whoa!"
The Hoka,
and then,
the Hoka
but now
Bondi.
they feel more like regular shoes. You know what I mean? They're not so weird feeling.
Some of the older iterations of the Hoka Bondi, which is their highest stack shoe, it just feels like memory foam. You squish into it, and you have to put in extra effort to get back out of it.
I think I like the feel a little more. People are different that way.
I like a springy cushion, a nice, responsive springy cushion, and also being being able to spread my toesies out and get a good grip on the front of my foot and be
yeah.
So, personal preference, but hopefully the other Salomon shoes will work out good. I'm hopeful. So.
Yeah, and whatever. Even if you don't run that ultra with them, I think they'll come in handy for you.
Yeah, and I have a dog. We go walking, and my dog is very strong, so it'll be good.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, well, awesome, Chris.
All right.
Well, thank you for coming on today.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Do you have any? I don't think you have any social media or anything you want to promote or anything like that.
No, I don't.
Yeah. So it's all good. If you want to, what's the website for the Cape Cod Trail Race? Is it through the Falmouth Running Club website? Because you can get it if you go to falmouthrunningclub.org. You can get it to it there. But what's the actual website? Because I know it has its own separate one.
It does. It's weird. I think the separate website is left over from a previous. It's the only race in the club that has its own website.
I was going to say, it's the only one in the
It's
club.
like an.
It's not much
I don't know
on it.
why it does. I think it's left over.
That kind of makes sense.
So I don't even know. But if you Google Cape Cod Trail Race, it'll come up.
Yeah. Or if you go to falmouthrunningclub.org
or
and go to the races.
Yeah. Or if you sign up, you can link to the. Like if you go to the sign up page, But
yeah.
either one, so you can go to the club page. Sorry, I should know, but
That's okay. We'll just tell people, go to falmouthrunningclub.org, and under races, you'll see the Cape Cod Trail Race listed there.
And you can just also Google it, and it'll.
Yeah, should be the first
It's not
result.
hard to find.
Yeah.
So.
Try to keep things as easy as possible. As low frill as we can,
Yeah, oh, yeah, I'm for that.
It's a good time. Okay. Well, thank you again, Chris.
Thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for watching today. If you'd like to find us here on Runnah, you can go to Instagram and TikTok. I'm losing my brain, one brain cell at a time. Instagram and TikTok, we're at RunnahPod. And then you can send me an email at runnahpod@gmail.com. And we will see you guys on the next episode of Runnah. And that's it.
All right.
That's the end, Chris.
Thank you.
We did it.
Yeah,
Woohoo.
thanks. Not so bad.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Runnah. This podcast is edited, hosted, and produced by me, Juliana Coughlin. Brought to you in part by the Falmouth Running Club and the Falmouth Community TV station. If you'd like to connect with us, you can find us on Instagram and on TikTok at RunnahPod. And you can send us an email at runnahpod@gmail.com. And our original theme music was brought to you by the one and the only wonderful Jeffrey Hutton. And keep up the great work. I'm proud of you.